Alex Hartley always thought disasters announced themselves with fanfare. A screech of brakes, a shattering window, a doctor stepping out in a white coat. Instead, his family's downfall began with a polite ping from his banking app at 5:17 p.m. on a Tuesday. Your balance has fallen below the minimum threshold. Alex blinked at the notification, confused rather than worried. 6 years of disciplined saving meant Jason's college fund sat comfortably above any minimum. Still, he clicked. The screen refreshed, digits rearranged, and a single line of red text punched a hole straight through his ribcage. Available balance, 0.00. He refreshed again. Same result. A mistake surely. A server burp. He navigated to the transaction list. Instead of the tidy column of monthly deposits he expected, he found nothing. Literally nothing. The register had been wiped as clean as the balance. A chill prickled the back of his neck. He rose from the couch and called out, "Laura?" No answer. His wife's Subaru wasn't in the driveway when he glanced through the blinds. Odd. She hadn't mentioned errands. He dialed her cell. One ring, voicemail. Second try. Voicemail again. Jason padded in from the kitchen, braces glinting, half-eaten apple in hand. "Homework break, Dad. Why do you look like somebody stole Christmas?" Alex forced a smile that felt stapled on. "Hey, bud, you seen Mom?" Jason shook his head. Said she had to handle something downtown. She left right after school. Handle something. Alex swallowed. Laura's errands had been multiplying lately, along with perfume spritzes and mysterious texts she shielded from view. Unease gnawed at him, but until this moment, never pierced skin. "I'll be right back," he muttered. Upstairs, in the walk-in closet, Laura's floral suitcase was gone. Half her hanger space gaped empty. The sour taste of panic coated his tongue. Back downstairs, Alex opened their joint credit card portal. A blizzard of fresh charges scrolled: airline tickets to Miami, 2 nights at the Satai, champagne at Caviar Russi. Total, $13,172, posted this afternoon. The screen blurred. He could feel his pulse in his gums. Laura had emptied Jason's future and bolted. A small hand touched his elbow. Jason looked up, eyes solemn but strangely steady. "It's okay, Dad. I already started fixing it." Alex stared. "What do you mean?" The boy shrugged, biting his apple down to the core. "You'll see." If Alex hadn't been numb, he might have pressed. Instead, he collapsed onto the couch, phone forgotten, mind clawing for any rational explanation. But the truth was already busily ripping up floorboards inside his skull. Laura was gone, and she had taken everything. Days passed in a haze of half-finished thoughts. Alex showered, fed Jason, answered emails, but nothing felt real. Evenings he sat in the dark, laptop aglow with financial autopsies. The numbers played out the same grisly scene, 50 grand siphoned in 13 transfers over 3 weeks. Each scheduled at 2:03 a.m. Laura must have crept downstairs while he slept. Jason, by contrast, carried on like a metronome. School, chores, coding on his tablet. But Alex noticed quirks. Whispered phone calls terminated the instant he entered a room. Sketch pads filled with flowcharts. Long hours locked in the garage where the soldering iron's faint rosin scent lingered. One night, Alex finally tiptoed out and peeked through the garage window. His son hunched over a workbench littered with microcontrollers, jumper wires, and a whiteboard dense with arrows and acronyms. VPN, Tor, SSH, and API key. Underneath, circled twice, Operation Homecoming. Alex's scalp prickled. Was this some elaborate school science project? He eased back to the hallway, unsure whether to feel impressed or alarmed. The next afternoon, an unknown Florida number lit up his phone. Against better judgment, he answered. "Alex?" Laura's voice was ragged, frantic. "Oh God, Alex, you have to help me," rage flooded him. "Help you? You drained our kids' college fund." "It wasn't me. I mean, it was, but everything's gone wrong. Damien disappeared. Our accounts are frozen. The police..." He cut her off. "Call your boyfriend." "I can't find him." "Alex, please?" Jason wandered in, tablet tucked under his arm. Alex jammed the phone against his chest. "Mom," he mouthed. Jason's expression hardened. "Speaker," he whispered. Alex hesitated, but the authority in his son's eyes was unsettlingly adult. He tapped speaker. "Jason?" Laura's voice cracked through static. "Sweetheart, Mommy's so sorry." "Save it," Jason said, voice flat. "You betrayed us. Actions have consequences." Laura sobbed. "I'm stranded, baby. Someone hacked Damien." "They hacked me. I can't even buy a bus ticket." Jason's lips quirked in a small, chilly smile. "I know. I did it." Silence throbbed down the line. "What?" Laura whispered. "I reversed your transfers. College funds. Back also forwarded proof of Damien's scams to the FBI. You both have incoming subpoenas." Laura made a strangled noise. Jason's thumb brushed the tablet. The call clicked dead. Alex stared, heartbeat jackhammering. "Jason, what have you done?" His son looked up, eyes calm as deep water. "Fix the first hole. There are more." Alex swallowed hard. A shiver crawled his spine that had nothing to do with the room temperature. That night, Alex forced a conversation. "You hacked multiple banks, Jason. That's a felony." "So is theft," Jason replied, assembling a tiny drone rotor without looking up. "Mom crossed the line first." "You're 10. Jason set down the screwdriver. "Age doesn't change right and wrong, Dad. It just changes who gets prosecuted. When no one else acts." Alex opened his mouth, then closed it. The logic was terrifyingly airtight. Over microwave lasagna, Jason laid out a blueprint as calmly as reciting spelling words. Step 1. Lock down family assets. Step 2. Dismantle Damien's network of shell companies. Jason had already spider-mapped them via leaked tax ID databases. Step 3. Create an evidence trail so compelling that authorities had no choice but to act. Step 4. If Damien retaliated, neutralize the threat. Alex felt as if he'd stumbled into a Cold War briefing. "Neutralize?" he echoed. Jason shrugged. "Expose him publicly. Ensure arrest. Physical violence is inefficient." The boy stabbed a green bean, unfazed. Alex's stomach twisted. Pride wrestled horror inside him like rabid dogs. Retaliation arrived 3 days later, right on cue. Alex's phone buzzed with a blocked caller. "You think you're clever, Hartley," a low voice hissed. "Damien. I know where you live. I know where your brat goes to school. Fix what you broke, or I fix you." Alex's fingers went numb. In the living room, Jason paused his video game, listening. When the call ended, Alex swallowed. "We're going to the police." "They'll take a report," Jason said, "and tell us to buy a Ring camera. Meanwhile, Damien decides if he wants to escalate. Better to corner him." "Corner. Jason, he threatened your life, so we make him desperate enough to slip." Jason's tone was clinical, almost bored. "I already planted a tracker through his burner SIM. Once he crosses state lines with outstanding warrants, federal marshals can—" The window shattered. A brick thudded onto the carpet. Jason flinched only slightly, then moved with eerie composure to retrieve the brick. A note was rubber-banded around it. "You're next." Alex's hand shook, dialing 911. Jason examined the handwriting. Side pressure, aggressive slant. He wrote this standing up, adrenaline spike. "Jason, bedroom." "Now," Alex barked. The police dutifully logged the vandalism and promised extra patrols. After they left, Jason emerged from the hallway, expression composed. "He accelerated the timeline," the boy said. "Good. I'm ready." Alex dropped onto the couch, head in his hands. Somewhere between disbelief and awe, a realization settled like silt. His son was playing chess while the rest of them fumbled with checkers, and the game had only begun. Alex had hoped Damien's arrest would snap their world back into shape, but peace slipped through his fingers like sand. The first night after the cuffs clicked was a blackout, literal and figurative. At 3 a.m., the power died with a thunk, and someone yanked the meter clean off the brick. Jason woke before Alex, already sliding his custom thermal cam drone through the bedroom window, eyes cold with purpose. Minutes later, the drone's feed captured a hulking silhouette sprinting into the kudzu behind the shed, and Jason quietly texted a spoofed, unknown intruder armed call from the man's own cloned SIM. Sirens answered. The thug melted into the trees. Jason retrieved the drone, cheeks streaked with sweat, but lips tilted in a tight, grim smile. That was Damien's last chess piece, he murmured, voice too adult for 10. With Damien awaiting arraignment, Jason pivoted to isolating Laura. Court orders froze her residual cash, and a Miami judge stapled a travel hold to her passport. Guilt gnawed Alex's ribs. Love and fury still shared a timeshare in his chest. Against every instinct, he flew south to face her. The detention center interview room smelled of bleach and hopelessness. Laura, wrists cuffed to a gray desk, looked smaller, age leaking into the corners of her eyes. She tried to start with, "Alex, you look," but the apology collapsed under its own weight. He slid over a printout. Jason's meticulous flowchart of Damien's shell companies, spattered now with federal seizure stamps. Laura traced lines with trembling fingers. "He's only 10, she whispered. Alex said nothing. Finally, she met his gaze. "What do I do?" "Testify," he answered. "Redirect whatever restitution you can into the victim's fund. Accept the plea. Maybe you see Jason in 5 years instead of 15. Her signature landed like a falling feather, soundless, but irreversible. Back in Tallahassee, school counselor calls piled up. Ms. Ramirez reported Jason's essays read like CIA briefs, classmates mapped by leverage points, field notes on cafeteria power dynamics. Alex confiscated screens and hauled his son camping in the Apalachicola. No Wi-Fi, only katydids and a sky fat with stars. The second night, Jason finally spoke. "Dad, my head doesn't stop. Threat matrices, redundancy paths, it's like chess notation scrolling behind my eyes." Firelight flickered across his frightened face. Alex admitted his own paralysis, how the absence of action shoved Jason onto the front line. They built a pact: weekly therapy, shared passwords, and any operation requiring more than mild mischief had to clear a 2-key rule. Both father and son turn metaphorical keys or it doesn't launch. Court month arrived like wet concrete. Damien pled to 14 years. Laura's cooperation earned 28 months in Coleman low security. Reporters tried to christen a boy whiz vigilante, but Alex buried them under sealed minor injunctions. Even so, envelopes bulged the mailbox. Scholarships, VC woo pitches, a letter on Pentagon stationery hinting DARPA young fellows. Jason thumbed the cardstock, pulse quick, then fed it to the shredder. Control was a drug. He intended to stay clean. 2 years ambled by. Asheville offered Blue Ridge fog and anonymity. Jason, now 12, pivoted from cyber warfare to drones mapping disaster zones for missing pets. His open source project won a national STEM expo. Landing them, in DC by the Hotel Ice Machine, a defense contract recruiter cornered Alex. "Your son can save soldiers' lives." Alex tasted iron and replied, "He's busy saving dogs." That night, Jason found the recruiter's card in the waste bin, watched it curl to ash in a bathroom sink, and felt something inside him unclench. April 12, 2027 crept up rainy and reluctant. Laura's release. Jason insisted on going. The prison gate disgorged her like a ghost in state-issue denim. She scanned the parking lot, braced for scorn. Instead, her son, now nearly eye level, extended a weatherproof envelope. "It isn't money," he said, voice steady but not icy. Inside, a color-coded GED schedule, vetted apartment listings, a debit card tied to the victim relief fund she herself had helped establish, and a single-page contract. 6 months of compliance, therapy, and weekly service hours tutoring life skills to teenage runaways. Successful completion unlocked supervised visits. Laura's knees buckled. "Why help me?" Jason's eyes flicked to Alex, then back. "Because burning bridges cost us too. We're building ladders now." Tears blurred her vision. "You trust me with this?" "Trust is a ladder," Jason echoed. "First rung." They drove her to a halfway house overlooking Biscayne's battered skyline. On the porch, she turned. "Jason, Will the ladder ever reach you? He inhaled. The old algorithmic chill gleamed for a moment, then softened. Keep climbing. Weeks stretched into summer. Laura kept every tutoring shift, mailed progress logs, passed nightly curfew pings. Jason coded himself, this time with her consent. Across state lines, Alex and Jason retiled their kitchen, the thunk of new ceramic sounding like punctuation at the end of a long, jagged sentence. Therapy sessions shifted from crisis triage to future drafting. Jason chose debate club over hacking, competitions. He still loved code, but now the rush came from persuading, not toppling. September brought the STEM Gala follow-up in San Francisco. Jason delivered a keynote on ethical hacking. If knowledge is power, empathy is the circuit breaker. Standing ovation, a sprinkle of tears from teachers in the cheap seats. Backstage, a grizzled cybersecurity czar offered an internship whenever you're ready. Jason replied, I'll be ready when my ladder is taller than my sword. The man blinked, then nodded as if that made perfect sense. On the flight home, Alex dozed against a humming window. Jason stared at cotton candy clouds and let his thoughts float untethered for once. No threat matrices, no contingency branches, just a blank horizon he didn't need to dominate. He pulled out his tablet, opened a sandbox IDE, and began sketching. A game where cooperation, not conquest, unlocked levels. He titled it Bridge Builder. Beside him, Alex stirred awake. What are you making, kiddo? Jason smiled, warm, uncomplicated. Something that only works if everyone wins. Alex's chest loosened. The polite banking ping that had once detonated their world felt impossibly distant, like thunder from a cleared storm. Ahead of them lay more weather, inevitably, but also tools. Ladders, bridges, circuit breakers, and the simple, radical possibility of better choices. And for the first time, father and son felt not merely safe, but ready.